250. That is 250 episodes of the 1% in Recovery podcast. 250 years of independence for the United States of America. Welcome again to another episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast, where we encourage you to laugh every day. Work hard in your recovery, your relationships, your business, school, career. Just work. And to love unconditionally. Put much more love more out there and watch much more love return to you. As we say, recovery is beautiful. You cannot outthink an emotional issue, and your EQ is your IQ. What do we encourage people to do now? Just like always, download the free, I repeat, the free Recovery Growth Scorecard from the website Is Wonderful.Love, Love. And that is how you begin recovery. You start changing the neuroplasticity in your brain. You start healing the brain by getting the natural serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. Download free Recovery Growth Scorecard, Is Wonderful.Love, Love. Now let's get into this big episode, this week's episode, number 250, where we're going to be talking about everything that has been accomplished over these last 4.5 years, almost really 5 years. We go back to the very first YouTube video, September of 2019, talking about 7 years of this evolution, where we started with a 7-minute YouTube video. Then we talked about the 12 steps explained. It's my own interpretation of the 12 steps, where step 1 is we believe the lie, all the way to step 12, faith, hope, love, and everything in between, so a person can truly develop their emotional, spiritual life, the foundation. And as we went on this journey, we realized with Life is Wonderful as the initial brand and the actually oversees everything was under Life is Wonderful. Then later on, we decided to change the name of the podcast to the 1% in Recovery. So our SEO and our discoverability on search engines, on podcasts, would be more readily available. And then we came up with a system, the Recovery Freedom Circle, where we realized how to help people. Yes, people need the Recovery Growth Scorecard. That's how you begin for free. Then you start listening to the podcast. Then you can either start with the Strong Leader, Strong Character course, which is just under $100, or you lead into something much more intense over 18 weeks, 126 days, the Recovery Freedom Circle, where we talk you through all 12 character traits, all 12 steps, 72 questions. You have homework, you have a syllabus. You work this like you're taking a college course, because that is how recovery needs to be. It needs to have a start and finish end to get the foundation. And you got to keep going. It's no different than if you had a training program and you were trying to build up muscle or lose weight. You haven't established what you're going to do over 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, what your muscle body goals are. It's no different than school. You can take a school, it could last 1 year, 2 years, 4 years. Depends on the training that you need and the specialty. It's no different here in recovery. You can't just go to meetings, do some steps with mainly your own interpretation with some guidance of a sponsor who is only going to be there available if you make the effort. But guess what? If you're early in recovery, you're not making an effort. Not initially, you're not calling, and that's what you need. You need to lower all that negativity, all that bad information in your head. And that is how you grow. You grow by having a recovery coach. You grow by having a therapist. You grow by understanding nutrition and how a nutritionist or changing what you eat can affect. Changing how you go to the gym, how many times you go to the gym, as well as your own body in putting in not just gym work, but also some type of cardio or sport, as well as going to some type of spirituality. We're talking about meetings, we're talking about a specific religion, we're talking about talking to others, about how we're trying to understand higher powers, God's great mysteries. That is how we grow. And that is what we've been doing over these 7 years, 4.5 years. I mean, here on the podcast, we have done the steps 3 different ways. We've done it through the 12 steps explained, my own interpretation. We've done it through one word. Step 1 is about change. And we also talked about the essence of steps. We've interviewed people that were compulsive gamblers, alcoholics, but we also talked to doctors or people leading state organizations, people who've been in prison, people who have impacted others and have seen addiction, especially alcoholism and compulsive gambling, problem gambling, from a way that you just need to hear. I love all these different voices. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to compile different little video clips and nuggets so that each person, we can actually create a product to really truly understand is how people can recover faster. That has always been one of my goals when I started this YouTube channel, when I started the podcast, when I created courses, how to get people to get recovery quicker. Should not take as long as it does. People spend years in their addiction, as I always say. But there's no reason you need to spend the same exact years barely trying to get it. And then either living in fear or relapsing or just not living your best life. This is about living your best life. This is about accomplishing all your goals and dreams, getting the people that you want in your life. That is the beauty of the 1% in Recovery podcast. Well, I've created all this stuff, whether it's free or it costs a little bit of money or it costs a few $1,000s. It really is about getting the essence and the best part of you. And I got so many other excellent products coming out, books. The 12-Step Explained book is now really being pushed. I just finished a TED Talk, The Dream World of the Gambler. That'll be available in August, which would be free on the TED YouTube channel. But any types of views, likes, comments will always be appreciated, the same as on do a podcast review. Anything to keep pushing the movement. The movement is about understanding recovery and understanding that when I say recovery is beautiful, I really mean recovery can be so beautiful. It can be peaceful. It can be freedom. It can have serenity. It can have contentment. And that is the whole essence. When I talk about your EQ is your IQ, yes, your emotional intelligence becomes your real intelligence, because if you flip out or you get annoyed or hurt by every negative comment or someone criticizing you or having something somewhat negative to say about you or challenge you, that is your emotional intelligence, and you need to just know who you are as a person. If you know your character, you know you're not going to be swayed. Also, you got to realize is that you cannot outthink an emotional issue. Stop trying to outthink these things. You have to feel them. You got to feel, whether like last night when Croatia lost, the disappointment, but also feel the love that I was able to share the moment with my brother and my niece. I was able to come home and there were my 2 cats and dogs waiting for me. I was able to wake up, whether they were friends, family, people in programs, someone texting me about something, and just feeling that I'm seen. That is so important, to be felt that you're seen, that you're validated, that you're appreciated, that you're supported, that you're loved. And that is all that we're trying to push here with all the different brands. And when I push all the brands, that is what I want people to see and people to grasp and know that between Life is Wonderful, Recovery Freedom Circle, and the 1% in Recovery, We're going to keep moving recovery forward until more and more people get it and just live their best life. And then you can share your story. You can share your story on my podcast. You can share your story with others, and also to reduce the stigma. With that, we're going to conclude this episode, the 250th episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast. Till next week.